was anyway. Sorry, that was anyway by Jamie and Shuni. And we've got. I'm tripping up my words, and I noticed that the newsman did that as well. So
I
I'm
hope
okay.
you don't trip up with the words in the next request we got for you. Anyway,
Right. So what have you got next?
Well, there's an 8-year-old boy has emailed us.
Right.
Hamish McTavish.
Hamish McTavish from Townhill, right?
And he was wondering if you could maybe rap the verse, rap the hook to Emperor.
Right. Okay. You got the words?
Yeah, I've got the words there for you, man.
Right. Okay.
Not like we've set this up or anything.
Right. Yeah, I knew you were going to do something to me.
Hamish, this one's for you, bro.
Right. So, can you just tell me when I come in and what roughly beat wise?
Right. I'll tell you what. Right. I'll do it first.
Right.
And then you can get like a feel of how it goes.
Right.
And then you can like try it.
Right. Okay.
On the second one.
Right. Yep. That's fine. That's fine with me. Right. Okay. Well, this is first for me, and this is going to be fun, isn't it?
Let's do it, Scott. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I wanna know what I got. The times now. The essence of the cloth. Hemp could feed mouths. I wanna know what it costs. Never owned, never watched. It's time for a plot. It's time to speak out. Wanna know what I got. The times now, the essence of the cloth, hemp can feed mouths. Wanna know what it costs, never owned, never watched. It's time for a plot, it's time to speak out.
Right.
Yeah, you got it?
Right, yeah, I got it. Yeah, we'll give it a go,
1, 2, 3, 4.
I wanna know what I got, the times now, the essence of the cloth, hemp can feed mouths. I wanna know what it costs, never own, never watch. It's a time for a plot, it's a time to speak out.
I wanna know what it costs.
The times out, the essence of the cloth, hemp can feed mouths. Wanna know what it costs, never own, never watch. It's a time for a plot, time to speak out.
USA, Virginia, the date is 1619. Back then, farmers were ordered to grow Indian hemp seed. Cultivation of hemp was a must for the government's need. You could even be jailed in Virginia by 1763. Are we still talking about the land of the living free? There's towns in Long Island, Arkansas, and Texas called Hempstead. It was legal tender for the 1630s into the 1800s. Money could quite literally be green, and you could pay your taxes for over 200 years with a 7-chambered leaf. Thomas Jefferson even went to great expense to get hemp smuggled illegally, and reefer extract was the most prescribed medicine easily between 1842 and 1890s reasonably, and its medicinal use continued right through to the 1930s legally. That's over 1,000 years BC, right till now.
Wanna know what I got? The times now, the essence of the cloth, hemp can feed mouths.
Wanna know what I cost, never known, never watched. It's time for a plot, it's time to
speak out. Wanna know what I got.
The times now, the essence of the cloth, hemp feed mouths.
Wanna know what it costs,
never owned, never watched. It's time for a plot, it's time to speak out.
I'm Benjamin Franklin, I see the wonder of weed. I'm Thomas Jefferson in 1794 and I own a plantation of green. In the first draft, the Declaration of Independence was written on a Dutch sheet.
A Dutch sheet, Jay?
I'm gonna be a nuisance. I'ma try list all the uses of the Indian hemp seed. I'ma quote the facts, get right up your back and let me start, but it was real cheap. 100 times easier, less expensive, non-slave labor intensive, with introduction of the decorticator machine by George Slinkton in say 1916. Being 12,000 plus years wise, and the government's DuPont mascot then decides that this plant's legal historical life seems to be far too raw deep. A control of the substance, but only for the green. A 6,000-year-old word, K for the cane, and 2 sectors represented by the BQMB.
Wanna know what I got? The times now, the essence of the cloth, hemp can feed mouths. Wanna know what it costs, never owned, never watched. It's time for a plot, it's time to speak out. Wanna know what I got? The times now, the essence of the cloth, hemp can feed mouths. Wanna know what it costs, never owned, never watched. It's time for a plot, it's time to speak out.
It's like 2 reeds, a real need for yin to follow yang, flower then to follow seed. Like the tranquil valley needs a violent river running to create nature's ravines. Well, after all those years did Mr. Anslinger in 1937 kinda just have to intervene. In ancient civilized peace, the resources history is forever clean. The outlook of this wonder plant only changed the further away through the 20th century, when the US government decided to raise tax and put immigrants straight into the state penitentiary. They hit us with sensory. Is this how it's meant to be? Propaganda, yeah, propaganda.
The killer weed.
Adverts and governments funded documentaries. It's treachery, essentially got liquid in rudimentally. No disclosure, white noise consequentially. Every one of us dependent independently. Generally,
wanna know what I got? The times now, the essence of a cloth, hemp can feed mouths. Wanna know what it costs, never own, never watched. It's time for a plot.
Last time, Donald on his own. I wanna know what I got.
The times now, the essence of the cloth, hemp can feed mouths. I wanna know what it costs, never own, never watched. It's time for a plot. It's time to speak out.
Yeah.
Woo woo woo.
Big G, man.
Big G.
Yes.
Oh, there we go. They made me rap. I knew
There's a first,
I
man.
knew you'd do something.
But you've never done
Actually,
that
I
before.
can't swear on air, but I knew you'd do something. I swear words at you. I knew you'd do something. I thought they're going to do something. They're up to something. You know, usual stuff.
Well,
Actually,
Hamish, man, that one was for you.
that
So,
was
like,
for
hope
Hamish.
you enjoyed it,
If
Hamish.
you give me one moment, I forgot. I've got other stuff here. Always forget that I've got other stuff.
We've got a couple of other questions as well, man.
All right, okay.
Yeah,
Well, we got glow sticks.
glow
man.
sticks.
Glow sticks, man.
Oh,
I forgot about the glow sticks.
Saturday night.
Of course, we got to have glow sticks.
What
haven't we?
makes you tick, Donald?
What makes me tick?
Yes.
Live music.
Live
Live
music.
music.
Banging.
Live music. Seeing live
Just want to
bands.
applaud that, man.
Stuff like that. Writing as well. Writing does it as well. I write
If you would
loads of
live
stuff.
anywhere in the world, you got the chance to live anywhere in the world, right? With everyone that you need around you,
Yep.
where would it be?
It would be a small island at the top of Scotland, as far as you can go apart from Shetland, called Westray, where I spent 3 weeks as a student, and I absolutely loved it. I really enjoyed it. I loved it.
Really nice.
And it's a tiny little town, and it's got like one pub, and it's got which acts as a takeaway for fish and chips, and
Oh,
it has no
wicked.
police on the island, and it's really quiet, and it's just lovely.
That
And I really
sounds
enjoyed
amazing.
it, and I spent time with, as an archaeologist. Well, I studied archaeology, so I spent time up there excavating, and I loved it. I absolutely loved the way of life up
Nice,
there.
man. I don't know anything like that.
So there you go.
Well, it's got to our next question.
Takes
because
2
we were
days.
gonna say,
Takes 2 days to get there.
what have you studied? You know, what have you been
I
and done?
studied-
'Cause I know you've been to
Yeah, I
university,
studied
you know.
archaeology for 3 years at York. With some of the best people in the world.
Wow.
I studied with Martin Carver, who did Sutton Hole, which is a big ship burial. One of the premier experts of the world who did bones, a guy called Don Brothwell. He's amazing. Some of the best. And then I went off and did something else, and ended up doing what I do now.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah, that's what I studied. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do that since I was 10 years old, being an archaeologist, and I went and did that for 3 years.
That's awesome.
Wicked.
Yeah, that's really cool.
What's your favourite moment of last year?
Favourite moment last year.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be, and it won't be radio related. My favourite moment, and it was probably one of my proudest moments, is there's an author I really like called Neil Gaiman, who I absolutely adore, and he's the best. And I went to get my niece's book signed, and he couldn't sign because he had a family emergency. But he came back to the book festival last year, and I told my nieces I would take them. I says, we'll take them and you'll get to meet him. And in front of a sold out crowd at the International Book Festival at Neil Gaiman's event, my 11-year-old niece stood up in front of everybody and asked her a question about her favourite book in the whole world, and asked the author himself. And I was so proud, and it's one of my sort of the moments, because it just shows, because she had the confidence to stand up in front of like a whole audience of people and say, where did you get your inspiration from?
Brilliant.
And that's one of my,
That's
and it was a
fantastic.
really good night as well, because afterwards I went and interviewed editors the
Ah,
same night. So it was a
Well
brilliant night. I absolutely loved that. It was their first UK gig.
Double why?
Yeah.
First UK gig, because they weren't touring at that point. The first UK gig back before they did the festivals, and I got to interview editors. So it was a brilliant night. That's probably the best moment of my
What's been your best ever radio guest?
best ever radio guest.
Yeah.
It depends on what you mean by best.
Obviously,
lot of people are going to be like-
obviously apart from us.
Apart
So
from us
angry.
guys.
Well, I think
No, your most favourite radio
I
interview.
think for Oddity was the Ghost Hunters.
Uh-huh.
They came in. They were they were interesting. One of the most interesting recently was Tony Martin, the counsellor, who I didn't know. His dad was actually a professional jazz pianist.
Aha.
And he was telling us about his dad's funeral, because one of the songs he picked, was played at his dad's funeral. He had an Old Orleans funeral,
Wow.
and that was fascinating to see, because I never knew that about him.
Yeah.
I've known him since I was a kid, and I never knew that side of him, that his dad was a showman. Public service broadcasting was interesting, because I don't know who they are. They use pseudonyms, so you don't actually know anything about them. So you don't know when you ask questions if they're actually being serious or not.
Right.
So when I asked them how they met, they said they met in knitting class, and I didn't know if they were being serious or they were taking the mick. And because they don't actually know, I think even the manager's got a made up name. I don't actually think the manager's name was real. And because one of them's called like Colonel, but something. I mean, they've got these eccentric names, but they were brilliant to interview because they were trying to do something different.
Uh-huh.
And I think Wivertand,
They're trying to be someone different, I think.
yeah, I think they're
is
trying to do.
what
Yeah,
you're looking for.
they put a lot. They put a lot of work. No, they put a lot of work into what they do. The whole idea
No,
is
totally,
their,
man, I'm not, you know.
what their product is different from. When they do a lot of stuff with film
cool.
and things like that. I
It's
enjoyed
cool.
that.
It's very enigmatic.
And I think as well,
I'm just the number one.
I think
to be honest.
Wivertand was
It's
brilliant.
a lot like a number two.
Wivertand was brilliant.
Mm.
Wivertand was so nice, and he is
Yeah.
so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever I meet him, I met him recently, and I hadn't seen him. The last time I saw him was interviewing him in August,
Yeah.
and he remembered who I was and had a chat. He's a lovely man.
He cooked for you in that.
Well, no, he tested. That's who I tested all my questions on, because he's the
Aha.
type of guy that would walk out if he's not happy.
Right.
And that's who we
right.
tested
Bit of
him
a prima
on.
donna.
No, he
No,
just doesn't
oh.
like interviews. He's just reclusive. He doesn't like interviews.
Right.
He just hates interviews.
It must.
And so we eventually got him after 2 weeks in a pub.
So he's a nice guy if you tiptoe around him.
Yeah, well, he's nice to speak to. He's nice to have a chat with. Like, you can have a chat with him. It's no problem.
Just don't
But he
ask him a
just doesn't.
question.
He doesn't really like interviews. And we were lucky because we got half an hour interview with him. And if you look online, you don't see half an hour. And that was great. I think it was just great to just sit opposite him and ask him stuff about writing songs and
Totally.
And it was on my work lunchtime as well, which was even better because I went out on my work lunchtime and sat and interviewed him for us. Well, this is a great lunchtime.
We're going to do one more and we'll go to some songs again,
Yeah,
right? So we've got a
okey-doke.
bit of this and a bit of that.
Right,
So I'm going to ask you, is it this or is it that?
right,
Yeah, and you're going to tell me which one you prefer.
right.
Right, so rock and roll
Mhm.
or rock and chips?
Bit of both.
Oh, you see, this is not going to
Oh
work.
no, I would say rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Balearic Islands or the Scottish Highlands? I think we know that one, eh?
Yeah, I think it would be the Scottish Highlands.
Tablet and toffee or donuts and coffee?
It would have to be tablet because my mum makes the best tablet in the world.
Amazon deforestation or hemp plantations?
Hemp plantations.
That's what I'm saying, Donald.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm saying. Supa Da
agree with that.
Kryptonites
Mhm.
or Super Jamie in the Dipton shirts?
I would say Supa Da Kryptonites.
That's what I'm saying. Who wants that cover band anyway? Eh?
Totally, man. We can only think of dirty ones.
Right, so you're going to play a few tunes. This is Scott's choice because we just have a quick chat, and we're going to. What is it? Was it the Specials and Stevie Wonder? Yeah. You can't really remember, but
Because we're going to a ska night at Henry's Cellar Bar in Edinburgh tonight. Anyway,
Alright,
so
cool.
we're just going to drop in there after this and
Right.
kind of get in the mood for some ska.
Yeah, that's cool. So we're going to play Too Much Too Young, and then we're going to follow that with a bit of Superstition by Stevie Wonder, which is a fantastic song. This is Scott's choice. They're now choosing songs and stuff like that. I'm not doing anything apart from putting them on, so that's good for me because it's an easy show for me. As I said, apart from the rapping bit,
We'll gag him after the break.
as I said, we're just going to put Too Much Too Young on, and then you're right actually because we could take it up to the ads, and then we'll put the ads on. You're getting good at this one. You're getting good at this. We'll put the ads on, and then we'll stick Stevie Wonder on after.